Hello. It's just me tonight. We're taking care of the granddaughters, so Joe's busy with getting Josie to sleep, and I have Livy here on the couch. I had a couple of things on my mind tonight that I wanted to share. For one thing, I've had a couple of people share with me lately a poem that someone shared with them when they were first beginning their journey with autism. I heard this poem a long time ago, but I actually had forgotten about it. And I wanted to share this poem tonight in case there are any mothers or fathers out there watching that are in the beginning of their journey. And perhaps this poem can give you some comfort as you start out into the unknown. The poem is called Welcome to Holland by Emily Pearl Kingsley. Forgive me if I don't look at the monitor, but I'm reading this off of my computer. When you're going to have a baby, it's a lot like you're planning a vacation to Italy. You're all excited. You go out and get a bunch of guidebooks. You learn a few phrases so that you can get around. And then it comes time to pack your bags and head for the airport. Only when you land, the stewardess says, "Welcome to Holland." You look at one another in disbelief and shock, saying, "Holland? What are you talking about? I signed up for Italy." But they explain to you that there's been a change of plan, that you've landed in Holland and there you must stay. "But I don't know anything about Holland," you say. "I don't want to stay," but stay you do. You go out and you buy some new guidebooks and you learn some new phrases and you meet people that you never knew existed. The important thing is that you're not in a bad place filled with despair. You're simply in a different place than you had planned. It's slower paced than Italy. It's less flashy than Italy. But after you've been there a little while and you've had a chance to catch your breath, you began to discover that Holland has windmills. Holland has tulips. Holland has Rembrandts. But everyone else you know is busy coming and going from Italy. They're all bragging about the great time that they had there. And for the rest of your life, you'll say, "That's what I had planned." And the pain of that may never go away. You have to accept that pain because it's the loss of a dream. It's the loss of a plan. It's a very significant loss. But if you spend your remaining life mourning the fact that you didn't get to go to Italy, you will never be free to enjoy the very special and very lovely things about Holland. I think this poem is very appropriate for anyone who is in the beginning stages of learning that their child has a disability. I do disagree with one thing that the poem says. The poem actually says, "The pain of that will never go away." I changed it to, "The pain may never go away." For me, the pain went away very quickly. As soon as I realized that everything was going to be all right, and I realized that Craig was still Craig, he was still the same wonderful little boy that we've always had, I started to feel less and less pain. And I didn't feel unhappiness about it anymore. Cared sometimes and felt a little lost, but I really don't feel like I felt pain, and I certainly don't still feel pain. I'm actually thankful for going to Holland instead of Italy because it's a pretty cool place to be and it has lots of rewards. And because of that, I've met all of you and I'm really enjoying getting to know everyone. Thank you for your emails and your comments and your support. Another thing that's been on my mind, I had a lady that emailed me a question. She was telling me about how she had a memory of a boy in class who that they couldn't get to sit still. They would put a balloon up on the stage so that he'd look at the balloon and stay in one place. But that only kept his attention for so long. And she told me how she had memories of him just running around the football field. And she wanted to know if there was any special things that teachers did for Craig that really helped us. And I already told you about how one of his teachers changed happy birthday to a Spanish version because Craig always cried at the happy birthday song. But after her email, I had a flashback to a memory of when he was in high school, that if Craig was good and he finished whatever his assignments were that he was supposed to be working on and didn't have any meltdowns, he got a special treat, which was he got to go to a special area and watch Mr. Bean, which at that time was one of his favorite shows. So I thought that was a pretty cool reward that they gave him. And it certainly did work. It was a great motivator for Craig. I'd like to know if you have anything to share about teachers who have done special things for your children. And maybe those things can encourage other parents and teachers. I also, while thinking of school, had a memory pop into my head of, I used to be, for when Stephanie and Craig were little, for a couple of years, I worked at an elementary school as the ticket puncher, which that job no longer exists because they no longer have lunch tickets. Now it's all computerized, which is a good thing because boy, did those kids tear up their lunch tickets. But when I worked there, of course, I sat in the hallway to punch the tickets, so I witnessed a lot of stuff that happened in the hallways with the students and the teachers. And I had a particular memory of, there was one girl who was labeled behavior disorder, and I would see them carrying that girl down the hall. Someone would be holding her hands and someone would be holding her feet, and she'd be screaming. And I remember hearing about how she would have these fits and that there was nothing they could do about it, and they would take her to the principal's office and they would call her parents, and there was nothing that her parents could do. I think maybe even she tried to escape, and really I didn't feel like anyone had sympathy for this girl. I feel like everyone was just frustrated and thought that she was just misbehaving or maybe spoiled. Now looking back, I suddenly had the epiphany that that girl had autism and she was having a meltdown. It was at that time when the school system hadn't had very many young people with autism yet. I don't know if I mentioned it, but when Craig was in special education preschool, he was like a trailblazer. It was just Craig and one other boy that had autism, and they were the first ones that they had in the special education preschool program. So also at that time, the label of autism was only given to people like Craig and the other young man that he was in school with, who very clearly you could see had autism. So the other children who had a higher functioning autism but still had the meltdowns kind of slipped through the cracks and were just stuck in regular rooms and labeled that they had behavior problems. And they probably had a few like areas where they needed a little extra help learning, but it wasn't to that. They didn't have one-on-one associates, and they probably didn't go to the special education room very much. And so I feel like they were just labeled problem children, and certainly probably didn't get the help and understanding that they needed. So I am so thankful that after all those years, they changed the label of autism to broaden it to include those individuals with high functioning autism, that even though they may be able to function in the class without a one-on-one associate, they still have a hard time coping. And I can only imagine what things were happening that made it so hard for that girl to cope, that she had that kind of a meltdown. And it was never, no one ever thought about, maybe it was a noise in the classroom, or maybe the schedule changed, or something was disappointing or scary to her. But no one would have thought of those things because we didn't have that education back then. So I just thought that was an interesting thought, and something that I actually I'm thankful for, that they changed the diagnosis to include more individuals, so there can be better understanding and hopefully more compassion. I also did, on a lighter note, I wanted to explain something. In a video several days ago, Craig and I were making, it was on Father's Day, we were making stromboli, and I said the word spaghetti, and Craig freaked out. And I had several questions about, why does Craig hate spaghetti so much? Well, we think that it all stems back to when Bennett was little. So Bennett and Craig are 6 years apart. So when Bennett was little, he loved spaghetti. And of course, when a small child eats spaghetti, it's kind of disgusting because they get it all over their face and their hands, and Craig could not stand to look at that. And I think that's where the hatred of spaghetti started and never ended. He says it looks like worms and that it's disgusting. And of course, he has been teased some about spaghetti over the years, which haven't helped anything. So that's the story of Craig and spaghetti. I don't foresee any way that Craig is ever going to try spaghetti. I remember one instance when we were at Universal Studios, and there's a restaurant called Comic Strip Cafe, and it's kind of like cafeteria style, where there's different lines and there's different kinds of food. Like there's Italian, they've changed a lot over the years. There's hot dogs. I think now they have like ramen in there. But at that time, they had spaghetti, hot dogs, maybe some Chinese. But a couple of us got spaghetti. And Craig would not sit. He went and sat by a table all by himself because he did not want to be anywhere near spaghetti. So that's the story of the spaghetti. So I think that's all I have to say tonight. I'll wrap it up now. Sorry, I feel like maybe I've kind of been all over the place. It's a little harder to do this when I don't have Joe to confer with and to talk with about these things. So I think I'll wrap up the video now, and I hope I haven't just been all over the place with my thoughts. It's a little harder when I don't have Joe doing this with me. But I still wanted to share some things with you tonight. And if you have any questions or anything that you want me to, and Joe, to talk about in the videos, please send us an email at ourdailyview1992@gmail.com, and we'll be glad to discuss them. We do have quite a list of things that we want to talk about. A lot of them I'd like Joe to be here to talk about with me, because he has a lot of valuable input too. And with that, we will head on to the next part of our video. I have a cute little clip of Craig and he was blowing bubbles, and it's pretty funny and pretty cute. I think he was probably around 3 years old in this clip. After that, we'll go on to our day, which was a pretty quiet day. We had both Livy and Josie here staying with us because Stephanie and Dusty went to Minneapolis to see a Taylor Swift concert. So we're pretty busy, didn't really get out to do anything. But you'll see in the video what we did come up with, and we will see you tomorrow. Thank you for all of your support. Bye. He missed the look on his face. Yuck.
I will give you more to eat to go. I will send you where you belong. Belong in your service.
With his mouth?
Very well. I will. The deliverer.
What is that, Craig?
Bubbles?
You wouldn't think that thing would be so soft it'd wear on you. Where you going?
I think they do put corn syrup in bubbles because they make your hands sticky.
Hey, ornery boy. Why don't you move that thing?
Which
The
one?
step stool.
Oh, that.
Thank you. Craig.
What do you want, huh? Get the ball.
Nice throw, Mom. Yeah, nice throw again.
He liked it.
He's gonna be the first major league reverse pitcher.
Throw it to Mommy. Throw it to Mommy.
What's Tippy doing? Just laying there?
Come back here, Greg. Craig, one of our viewers noticed that you like Johnny Cash.
Yeah, nasty man. Nasty man.
Is that a song?
Yeah, from Sesame Street.
Oh, how does it go?
Nasty man. That nasty man. Dan. Just trying that nasty man.
Have you ever heard of the song A Boy Named Sue?
No.
No? Oh, that's one of Johnny Cash's famous songs. And they wanted to know if you've heard of A Boy Named Sue because it was actually written by Shel Silverstein, which is the author of the book you read that poem out of last night.
Mm-hmm.
And Craig, one of our viewers wants to know, do you like scary movies?
No, they're too scary. They give me nightmares.
Have you watched any scary movies ever?
No, I used to watch horror classics.
That's what I thought. We used to have a DVD of horror classics, and they gave you nightmares, so you stopped watching them.
Mm-hmm.
How about like Goosebumps?
Well, I saw it on Fox Kids. Remember the video Welcome to Dead House? And I watched the movie Goosebumps, the movie with Bennett, and you and me went to see the sequel, right?
That's right, we did. I forgot about that. And it was about someone with didn't they have
Jack Black.
Did they have the dummies? What do you call those?
Ventriloquist.
Ventriloquist dummies. That's right. I almost forgot about that movie. Yeah, that was a good one. How about like Frankenstein? And have you seen any of the Frankenstein movies?
Nope. I saw Hotel Transylvania features Frankenstein.
Oh, that's right. That's a good movie, isn't it? Okay, so one of our viewers wants to know, what are your favorite pizza spots that are near us? Where do you like to go get pizza?
Pizza Hut.
Where else?
Godfather's Pizza. Domino's Pizza. Little Caesar's Pizza.
Where can we go and eat pizza there at the restaurant, though?
But Barnard's Pizza.
Yeah, that's one of our favorites, isn't it? We haven't been there in a while. We should go there. They have really good pizza. It's a thin, crispy, crackery kind of crust. And they use, if you're not from Des Moines, I don't know if you'll recognize the name of this, but they use Graziano's Italian sausage, which is the very best Italian sausage I've ever had.
Yeah.
It's really good pizza. It's an old place. It's been around for a long time. Also, we like, is it Scornovacas? We haven't been there for quite a while.
Yep.
I tend to like the mom and pop, I guess you would call them, pizza places that aren't chain restaurants. But I am very fond of Pizza Hut, and Godfather's is pretty good, but you can't eat inside of either of those around here. All right, one last question we'll do right now. Have you ever watched Arthur on PBS Kids?
Yeah, I used to watch Arthur. And
Can you
if
tell?
you don't know it, it's about Arvar, who learns life lessons with his friends.
Who are his friends?
Buster Baxter, The Brain, Francine Fensky, Muffy Crosswire, you know.
What's his sister's name?
DW.
And is there a baby?
Yep, Kate.
Do you know who does the voices on Arthur?
I don't know what they are voicing.
That's okay if you don't know them. All right.
Hello everybody, this is Chef Craig Vaver here, and today we're making pizza.
Yes, we picked up this pizza from Hy-Vee. We've had this before, and it's really good, and it has the Graziano sausage on it that we like so much. And Craig and I are going to add a few extra toppings while we're waiting for the oven to preheat.
Can't take this anymore.
That's all right. Craig's adding some pepperoni to the pizza.
Mommy,
We just recovered from a little disaster. Josie dumped a Barbie swimming pool of water everywhere. But
What do you do with a drunken sailor? What do you do with a drunken sailor? What will you do with a drunken sailor? How's that?
looks good. We should maybe just put the rest of the pepperoni on it because we don't have that much left. And then what else do you want to add on our half?
Onions.
Okay, so we'll put some onions on half because Dad doesn't like onions.
Oh, do I have to do this?
You're doing okay. So here we go. I put some mushrooms on my part. So we've added mushrooms, pepperoni, and onion. Very good, Craig. I'm proud of you for being brave enough to do that. All right, so now we'll let it cook for about 20 minutes and supper will be ready. Good job.
Right.
I did want to add that this pizza was $11.99. So dinner tonight cost about $12. We just added some ingredients that we already had in the refrigerator. I hope you can see these goats down here.
Goats!
Easter Lake
Hired a goat firm.
had to come in and get rid of invasive weeds. So the goats are just down there cleaning it up. They're so cute. That's a lot of fun. Oh, you can see when they're right up by the fence now. We may have to go down there and pet them. But what a fun way to get rid of what a fun way to get rid of weeds.
Get rid of weeds.
Livy has been in this high chair for probably 2 hours playing with a little bit of slime and
No, for
Oh.
this minutes.
for that many minutes.
Yeah.
And lots of little dollies and animals. And guess what? She says she needs more. She says, I need more people.
Really more, please.
And this is Rue. Can't get a picture. This is Stephanie and Dusty's dog, and Livy and Josie's. This is their dog Rue. And Rue she has to be at least 10 years old. She was supposed to be a miniature Australian Shepherd, but she is not miniature. Right, Rue? Rue is staying with us tonight, along with the girls, because Stephanie and Dusty went to a Taylor Swift concert in Minneapolis tonight.
Minneapolis?
That's where they are. They're in Minnesota. And Rue's wanting to go outside. Here's a little look at what it looks like when it's done. It looks and smells so good.
Oh no.
We'll cool it down.
Yes. Craig's been as excited about this as if we would have ordered from Pizza Hut. He's been thinking about it all day long. It's really hot though. And he can hardly wait.
There you go.
All right, Craig.
Mmm.
What do you think?
Tastes delicious.
Was that the high B
Mm-hmm.
pizza?
It's the high V one again. Time to make out the thank you cards.
Thank you, Craig.
It's looking good. Craig, one of our viewers wants to know, have you ever seen Doctor Who?
Nah, never heard of it.
Okay. All right, here's another question. Have you ever seen the show Flipper?
No, I didn't.
Have you heard of it before?
Nope, there was a dolphin.
Yeah, that's
He's
right.
just like Donald, my webkin.
Yes. So you've heard of Flipper, but is Flipper a Disney movie?
No.
No, I remember it. I can even remember the song for Flipper. The
Me
theme.
neither.
The theme song. Flipper, Flipper, Flipper. Do you know that?
No.
Nope. Are you playing a game, Josie? With Cookie Monster?
Powered by number.
Here it comes.
Papa and Josie watching the tablet. I'll be right there in a minute.
Frog, frog, frog.
Like that.
Color Fox in Socks.
Come on. Now, yeah.
Looks like Libby's coloring Cat in the Hat.
No, I'm using blue.
You coloring? Yeah, you're coloring Cat in the Hat also. We've got Livy and Craig coloring in the coloring book someone sent this week. Craig is the fastest colorer. You're doing a good job, Livy. Livy's good at coloring for her age, I think. Are you doing color by number, Craig?
Yeah.
Damn, yay!
I got this pretty apple cloth to put on the table, but I didn't buy it big enough. I mainly wanted it because it's waterproof,
Get a grab on yourself, will ya?
so it works good for the girls. Although, as you can see, yes, I'll get it in a minute. As you can see, Livy's not really all the way on it.
Here goes.
We turned around and tell them what you're reading.
When the elephant walks. When the elephant walks, he scares the bear. When the bear runs away,
Can't see
he
it.
scares the crocodile.
Good job, Greg.
When the crocodile swims for his life, he scares the wild hog. When the wild hog dashes for safety, he scares Mrs. Raccoon. When Mrs. Raccoon flees with her baby, they scare the little mouse. But when the little mouse scurries in terror, well, who would be scared by a little mouse? How's that? Ickle me, pickle me, tickle me too. Ickle me, pickle me, tickle me too. Went for a ride in a flying shoe. Hooray, what fun, it's time we flew, said Ickle me, pickle me, tickle me too. Ickle was captain and Pickle was crew, and Tickle served coffee and mulligan stew. As higher and higher and higher they flew, Ickle me, pickle me, tickle me too. Ickle me, pickle me, tickle me too, over the sun and beyond the blue. Hold on, stay in, I hope we do, cried Ickle me, pickle me, tickle me too. Ickle me, pickle me, tickle me too, never returned to the world they knew. And nobody knows what happened to dear Ickle me, pickle me, tickle me too. And this is Craig A. Favre saying, keep on having a great day and we'll see you tomorrow.
Olivia already fell asleep. And Josie's playing with the dollhouse. Enough to see their little imaginations.